All right, America, it's time for the Ringside Wranglers Wrestling Report with your hosts, Kansas and Jack Jaw.
What's up, wrestling fans? I'm Jack Jaw. We are the Ringside Wranglers. I don't even know who I have this week. It used to be HAZ-BIN. It was Kansas. Now it's somebody else. Who is this man?
Panama Paul. Because you got Pineapple
Paul.
Pete.
You don't even know your own name.
Look,
You don't even know your own name.
All I can tell you is, WWE right now, they don't know what they're doing. They're changing gimmicks every 5 minutes. So why the hell can't I change my gimmick? I'll go from has-been to Kansas, and now I'm Panama Paul. Next week, I'll probably be some other name. So who knows? We're just having fun with it anyway. It's all good.
I don't think anybody knows what they're doing, but we know what we're doing. We are the Ringside Wranglers. We're covering news from the WWE, AEW. Sometimes we hit on Impact, but we always hit on Independence, and sometimes hit on NWA. But the Independence is where it's at. We know where it's at. We cover the Independence. Let's start at the top of the news this week, covering the WWE Family Universe. Of course, Monday night is Raw. This week's Monday night show starts off with Randy Orton telling everybody he set his sights on Drew McIntyre. Watch out for the night. That's the way the night's going to end. Randy Orton, I think he's perfectly timed and ready to go after Drew. What do you think of that angle coming on?
I think, Jack, you probably don't like this one because you really weren't happy with Reba's cousin, brother, nephew, whatever you want to call him, Drew McIntyre. You get it, huh? Slapstick comedy. But I'm sure you weren't really happy with he and Dolph Ziggler every week going this. So now you finally got someone who deserves to be in the spotlight. Was he 11-time champion, if I'm not mistaken, Randy Orton? He should be the 12.
I think it may be 14. He may be right up there.
Yep. But whatever he is, he deserves to be the champion. There's no doubt about it. It's time for RKO to get another TITLE. Well, OVERDUE.
Oh, you're Mr. Speller today. I got you. All right, next up, you got Andrade Angel Garza taking on the Viking Raiders. I don't know what it is. I see the Viking Raiders. I just think, okay, time for a break. I'm going to go do something for a little while. Either way, Andrade, go to the next one. Producer Punk, Andrade, Angel Garza. They get the win over Viking Raiders, Ricochet, Cedric Alexander via pinfall. So now they're the number one contenders, Andrade, Angel Garza, to go against the champs. Next up, Shayna Baszler. I actually like this angle here. Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax. What are you thinking of that one? That's a sweet little tough lady against a tough lady.
Yeah, it is. But if you would have read some of the dirt sheets, it says that I don't know whoever this guy was in the ring, his shirt was supposed to rip off and it didn't. So Nia Jax had a lot of fun with it and started like cranking on his neck and all this stuff. And they were saying that just doesn't look good for her because she's already got a bad reputation of being stiff with people. And now this just makes it even worse because if you would have watched it, I'm sure you watched it Monday. I mean, she was literally like just cranking on the dude's neck like a front face lock, or so to speak. It was rough looking. I feel sorry for him. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, you get two badass women in there, and this would be a great opportunity to see who's the better woman. And if you're going to ask me a question, you got to go with Shayna Baszler on this one, man. There's no doubt.
What? I'm thinking Nia Jax. That poor dude, when I saw him come out, I thought, oh, dude, who is this dude in the ring trying to break him up? He's done. And that's exactly what happened. Next up, Dominic Mysterio. He confronts Seth Rollins. You saw this coming a million miles away. I don't even know how they're going to do this angle anymore. You said Dominic was possibly going to turn and join Seth Rollins. Maybe it's a bait and switch that's going on. I don't know. But, man, this is heated.
All right, so basically I did my homework this week for a change since I'm not working on the chain gang anymore for 8 weeks. But that's an inside joke, by the way. But the dirt sheets are saying that Rey Mysterio right now, Jr., by the way. I hate when they say Rey Mysterio. The guy's name is Rey Mysterio Jr., okay? Rey Mysterio Jr. is currently in contract renegotiation with the WWE. In the event he does re-sign, which everyone's praying to God he does, he and his real-life son Dominic will take on Don't Call Me Buddy Murphy and the disciple of the black disciple of Jesus, Rollins. Okay.
Yep.
Now, if for some reason Ray Jr. does not sign, Then there's talk that maybe Dominic will take on Rollins in a one-on-one kind of deal, or if everything blows up and Dominic says, "But if you don't, my father doesn't resign, I'm not going to sign either." And if that happens, then apparently they teased a little breakup last week between Murphy and Rollins when Rollins wanted Murphy to put Aleister Black's eye in the do another eye for an eye thing, and Murphy didn't want to do it. He kind of hesitated, and Rollins kind of got rough with him. So they kind of teased a little internal friction there. So you got three options here. If Rey does resign, you'll have Rey Mysterio Jr. and his son Dominic in a tag match against the Disciple and Rollins. If Rey does not sign and Dominic agrees to it, then it could be Dominic against Rollins. If Dominic says, "I'm not going to do it if you don't sign my father," then you can end up having this last-minute turn between Rollins and his Disciple. Don't call me Buddy Murphy.
And you got it covered from every angle. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Next up, Bobby Lashley versus Mustafa Ali. I wasn't too sure about this match. You kind of knew the way it was going to go. Bobby Lashley is not putting anybody over, and he definitely doesn't do it with Mustafa Ali. Bobby Lashley gets the win. Next up, you had Sasha Banks taking on Asuka. Distracted from the back. Kairi Sane getting laid out by Bayley. I thought that was a pretty cool little angle going on there. And the funny thing is right after the show, Kairi Sane is putting on Twitter that she has said, "See you later." Looks like she's going back to New Japan. So Asuka lost her belt, her chance to win the belt back, whatever. Either way, Sasha Banks, new Women's World Champion.
This was long awaited. Again, doing my homework since I'm not on the Chain Gang no more. Kairi Sane is married to a Japanese man over in Japan, obviously, and she wants to go back home, so to speak. And she had been trying to find a way to go for a long, long time. And I think Charlotte Flair was supposed to have something to do, or maybe Shayna Baszler was going to have something to do with, since they both weren't in the mix, so to speak. And Bayley is super over right now. And I'll be the first person to say I got to eat crow, because Bayley is the woman right now in WWE. I'm telling you straight up, she is. And I will say it with a straight face. So they figured they go ahead and have the hottest female in the business right now, which is Bayley, have her take Kairi Sane out. Now she can leave gracefully, still has good ties with WWE if she chooses to come back home, but she can go to Japan with her husband and do her thing. So that's what that's all about.
Yeah. She got some heat this week for announcing it that way via Twitter that she's out. But either way, who cares? He's gone. Next up, Buddy Murphy. He beats Humberto Carrillo. Another boring match. Put that right up there with the Viking Raiders match. I don't care. Then the main event of the night, Drew McIntyre. He's given Dolph Ziggler one more chance to earn his title shot in an Extreme Rules match. Guess what? It doesn't matter, because they knew they were going Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton match. So Drew McIntyre gets the win over Dolph Ziggler. And got to give it to WWE. Last week, the first event out the gate was my match of the week. This one, they finally got it right. The main event, to me, was the main event, was the match of the night. Drew, that match was intense. Blows going everywhere. You loved it when Drew gets the win, hard-fought win, and then he gets laid out by Randy Orton. I thought that was great final to Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. And, you know, someone very close to me who's very fond of Dolph Ziggler asked the question, I'm sure a lot of people are asking, if Dolph Ziggler is doing all these enhancement talent roles, the J word we can't say, jobber. If he's doing all that stuff, then why doesn't he just go to AEW like everybody else is doing, pick up their ball and go away? And that's a great question to ask. And my response would be, from the information I'm receiving, is that Dolph Ziggler is making a lot of money in WWE, and he's got a lot of credibility there. And there's just no way that Cody Rhodes and the powers that be, Jericho and the Jaguars owner, Deep Pockets, will be able to afford this guy. So, I mean, that's why he's got to stay where he's at. I mean, he would definitely be he would have the command close to 7 figures if he goes AEW, and they can't pay him that. So that's why he's doing what he's doing. This is the way I feel. I'm certainly not Ziggler. I'm sure the man can speak for himself, but I don't see why he want to leave, even though he's doing all these enhancement talent roles right now. I mean, he's had such a huge career there, and he's pretty much cut his teeth in WWE, so to speak, back in his days when he was the male cheerleader with the Spirit Squad and all. So, you know.
Well, that goes way back. But you got to give it to Dolph Ziggler. That dude has got some longevity. I don't even remember him ever being hurt. He's always there, ready to go. That wraps it for Raw this week. Next up, NXT on Wednesday night. We'll just run down what happened on the card there and give you our match of the week. Io Shirai and Tegan Nox take out Dakota Kai, Candice LeRae, Johnny Gargano, which I like him. He defeats Roderick Strong. Mercedes Martinez takes out Shotzi Blackheart. The Imperium, I like them. Fabian Aichner and Marcel Barthel take out Ever Raj. Don't care about them. Isaiah Swerve Scott, like him, takes out Jake Atlas. And then match of the night, to me, Dexter Lumis defeats Timothy Theory and Finn Balor. That match was going every which way. That's a match that's lining up for the who's going to fight for the North American Championship qualifying match. Next one, Punk. There he is, match of the night on NXT. Hit it, hit it, hit it. There it is. We already did the wrap up. Go on to the next one, Punk. Right there, your match of the week on NXT. Next one, right there. There it is. Dexter Lumis gets the win over Timothy Theory, Finn Balor. Finn Balor, you got to give it to him. That guy, it's one thing to job to people to keep the storylines going, but man, when you have been at the top and now you're fighting at NXT, all you're there for is to promote the talent, and that's what Finn Balor does. What you think of that?
He's a tough SOB. That's what I think about it. Because again, the dirt sheets are saying, if this is true or not, take it for what it's worth. But Finn Balor allegedly had a calf muscle tear when he was working out. He was cleared moments before that match, and he went out there, and I didn't see it because I don't watch NXT. Yes, I said it. I'm sorry, I don't. I just read the results, and I prepare. Let you handle this segment doing this show, which you do a great job at. And apparently, they went after it, targeted his calf muscle, so he's kind of hurting right now. And in fact, I think all three of the guys that wrestled in the match, according to the dirt sheets, were injured at some point. So it goes back to what we talked about, Jack, about with there not being any fans in the arenas, and these guys and ladies feel they have to go overtime, if you will, to put forth all this extreme effort to make everything look good and real and precise, because there's no fans to do the "this is awesome" chants and all. And they're really putting their bodies on the line. And who am I to say I'm not an athlete anywhere near their level? But I'm just saying, wrestling has always been about taking care of yourself. You take care of your opponent, he or she takes care of you, and that's the way it works. But if you go out there and just give 110% recklessness because there's no fans there to chant "this is awesome" and you got to make it happen, you're putting yourself at risk. And that's just my editorial opinion.
And you're entitled to it. On to SmackDown Friday night. Gotta like this one right out the gate. AJ Styles, he promised his match last week against Gran Metalik. Did you think Gran Metalik even had a chance? That's the wrong.
No,
picture.
I didn't. And again,
next one right there. Keep going. Keep going. Punk is going backwards. Either way, AJ Styles, Gran Metalik. Yep. He gets AJ gets the win via submission. He directs to the next one. There's the next match.
Yeah, worst win-loss record in the business. We'll talk about that in a second.
There we go. There is Drew Gulak. He fights King Corbin, but King Corbin gets the win. I guess they had to give him again. You had the numbers. What's King Corbin's record this year?
We'll go over that in a second, I promise. I don't want to spoil the one.
I got you. Next up, you got Big E. He beats Miz via submission. Miz is another one on a downturn. That guy's gone from the Intercontinental Champion to the Tag Champions, and now he's just losing all the time. Next up,
he's another one in the top three.
Another one.
He's another one in the top three of the worst records.
His backstage promo, I kind of like this when he said, "Hey, last week it was a handicap match against Hardy because Hardy was able to fight in his own environment, fighting in the bar. So guess what? Looks like that feud's over. Sheamus is moving on. We'll see who they put him up against in a program. Next up, Naomi. She comes back, gets her rematch with Lacey Evans. Naomi gets the win there. Next, there we go. Now he's jumping all over the place. Look at this, man. Producer Punk is smoking dope. He's all over the place. He jumped back to the beginning. Now we're at Naomi taking out Lacey Evans. Then we got to have the right pictures for this one. Sonya Deville in the back. There's Naomi. Next one, Sonya Deville in the back taking out Mandy Rose. This was intense. There she is right there cutting her hair. And I'm thinking, how cool would it be? Old school classic. Two women fighting in a hair versus hair match. Can you see it coming?
And it's going to happen. If you read the dirt sheets, it's going to happen.
It's going to be awesome. So I guess one of the ladies was like, "Okay, I'm getting ready to cut my hair short." There's the after effects. Lipstick on her face. Her hair's chopped up. I guess it's coming. Mandy Rose is in for a new hairstyle. Who knows what's going to go on? Maybe she's going to do it AKA Bailey style. I don't know. But either way, that was pretty good little intense distraction there.
It's very funny you said that, Jack, because when I saw what happened, the first thing I'm thinking of is, Bailey had that really long hair, and then she made this massive career change, positive, I might say, because she is now, in my opinion, the hottest female wrestler going on right now in terms of her streak and how strong and how her win-loss records and just how she's on top of the world right now. And she made an overall career change. She went from a babyface to a heel, changed the hairstyle, everything, and she's got it rolling forward. Becky Lynch out and Charlotte Flair out. It's got to be somebody to pick up the ball. That would be Bayley, number 1, and Sasha Banks, number 2. And yes, I did say it that way because it's true.
Yep. Either way, I don't think they got time to put together that Sasha and Bayley angle first.
They don't need to do it anymore.
You won't do it anymore, but that would be pretty cool, though. That's what I was hoping for.
Oh, it will still happen, but there's no need for it right now because with Charlotte out and with Becky Lynch out, you got to have two women going. The two women have the lead, so you got the SmackDown and the Raw Women's Champions. They're both at the same time the tag champions. They are on top of the world, but don't think for a second that what you said isn't going to happen, because all things have to come to an end in the wrestling business, and there's going to have to be an implosion at some point. And when it happens, it could be Survivor Series. They may wait until WrestleMania next year. They may do it at Royal Rumble. It's going to happen.
Funk implosion. Main event of on SmackDown was going to be the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bayley taking on Nikki Cross. This was set up last week. Bayley gets the win. Right out on the side, ringside, you got Alexa Bliss out there. I didn't see this one coming. I thought Alexa Bliss, you called her last week. You said she's Sister Abigail. Is that what you were calling Alexa Bliss last week? Well, looks like
there's two schools of thought. Two schools of thought on it, going to the dirt sheets again. Like I said, I did my homework last week. Two schools of thought on it. Number 1, Alexa Bliss could be Sister Abigail, and just like the Dark Order with Brody Lee and AEW, how he is a female in his group, she will be the female in the Wyatt family's group, and they can roll with it like that. Or the other school of thought would be that she and Braun Strowman still have this little storyline love affair angle going, a respect affair going, and this may be a way to draw Braun back in to get a match personalized against the Fiend at whatever match they're going to have it at. So whatever part of the road you want to be on, that's the two schools of thought.
Well, you got it right there, because then the Fiend shows up, the lights go dark, everything turns black and red. There's the Fiend right there. He attacks Alexa Bliss, hit it with the next one, Punk, gives her the old, man, we are all over the place. I'm wondering where the alphabet kind of works anymore.
Hey,
that's a couple matches ago. Right, Sheamus, we got to go up to the Fiend.
I'm glad to see Sheamus doing this angle again, because this is the Sheamus that I always like, not the one with the stupid flamingo style buzz haircut thing or whatever. He's got a short haircut. He's dressed as like an Irishman. He looks like an Irishman. An Irishman, what does an Irishman like to do? What do Irish people like to do besides drink? Fight. They like to drink and like to fight. And that's exactly, Fit Finlay, Finn Balor, Becky Lynch, and now the originator of them all, in my opinion, would be Sheamus. So that's exactly the angle that I like to see this guy at right now. Hey, you said you were getting tired of him doing the thing with Jeff Hardy, right? That's over with. You heard what he said on Friday. It's done with. Now he's going to come back and do what he's supposed to do, which is cause hell and destruction on SmackDown as the Irish ass kicker since Becky's out.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. So you think he's going to be a face, maybe?
No, I don't think he's going to be a face. I just think he's going to go back and do what when he first came back, when they had that big angle for him, that big push when he came back from his injury, and they were doing the vignettes for him. This wasn't supposed to be a blow off against Jeff Hardy. It was supposed to be for him to come out like this renegade, just kick people's rear end. Now I think he's on that path again, and this is the great luck, because this looks just like an Irishman going into a bar to whip somebody's rear end. It's exactly what it looks like. I'm glad to see him do that. Yep.
Either way, and then the main event. Well, that was the main event. The women's match, but then the Fiend shows up to attack Alexa Bliss. To me, that was the strong point of the night. That was kind of cool. Then he does the whole little what's the move with the hand in the mouth? What do they call that?
Mandible claw.
Mandible claw, aka Mankind, aka who was the funny guy that used to do it with the little
Santino.
Yeah, same move. Either way, definitely Fiend does it from the more dark side. So he lays out Bliss, and the night goes dark. I thought it was a great SmackDown show. Either way, go ahead.
He was very Bray Wyatt is a very classy wrestler, man, because when he did that move, you could tell he didn't put all the emotion and the torque in it like he would ever got. I mean, he basically let her know that move was coming, and you could tell he didn't put a lot of force on it when he did it, because it's a female, he still wants to take care of her. So showed a lot of class even when he kicks women's rear ends, he shows some class. So my hat's off to Bray Wyatt for doing that. Nice guy.
All right, Panama Paul. Well, there we go. Now we got news from the SummerSlam that's coming up August the 23rd. What are we, 3 weeks away? And I read some articles this week that says Vince is hell-bent on having this event, unlike he's not doing the empty little performance center again. Look for it to be outside. I don't know where they're going to do it, but I think they're taking cue from the AEW and realize the value, the bang you get. Even with less fans outside, you can do the pyrotechnics. It looks like, and then plus you can have the fake fans, the wrestlers to be, whoever in the audience, and they don't really come off like with the mask and stuff. Either way, I hope Vince gets his wish and he can do it outside, finds a venue to do it, because that's the only way I'm going to be interested in watching SummerSlam, regardless of the card. An average card will look great outside, a great card will look terrible inside. What do you think?
Well, he's not taking a cue from AEW. They're blatantly stealing from AEW, because AEW's big show they had was on the Chris Jericho cruise. Am I not mistaken in saying that? They had that's when I first actually started watching AEW big time, was when they had that match on the cruise ship, which was Jericho's creation, so to speak. He allegedly paid for it, right? Another thing someone close to me mentioned about, you notice back in the day on WWE Raw and SmackDown, whenever they go to commercial break, they'd say, we're going to go to commercial break, and if there's a pinfall, we'll let you know. That never happened in the 50 years they've done it, right? So AEW all of a sudden starts to do like we're doing right now. Picture in a picture. Left-hand side, you get the live action. Right-hand side, you've got the commercial, or vice versa. It doesn't matter. One screen's got the commercial, which has to pay for advertising. The other one has the live action still going. So if there is a pinfall, you can see it. So AEW originated that, okay? AEW originated the cruise ship thing. So they're not taking a picture, a page. They're blatantly stealing AEW's ideas, because AEW right now, whether you like it or not, is getting better. And when you see who Chris Jericho's guest moderator is going to be when he goes up in a debate against Orange Juice, you're really going to be freaked out.
We'll cover that in a minute. So that wraps it up for WWE this week. Look for announcement maybe this week of how SummerSlam's going to go down. They better pull off something good. On to AEW. This week's show, you had 6 main matches. I thought this was a pretty good week. Recap real quick. The night starts off with Best Friends and some additional friends taking on the Inner Circle, and Best Friends with some other friends, a.k.a. Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy. They get the win over the Inner Circle. Do we have a picture of that, Punk? I think I do, but maybe I don't. I guess he can't find it. Next up, second match of the night, you had Cody defending. There we go right there. Inner Circle, Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, Best Friends, Orange Cassidy. All those guys get the win over the Inner Circle. I thought that was a pretty good match to start off the night. Next up, Cody Rhodes taking out Warhorse for the TNT Championship. Of course, Cody's going to win, but the event of the night had to have been for me. Well, it wasn't the match of the night, but I thought it was pretty cool. Woo, 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 woo is in the house at AEW. Yep. None other than Zack Ryder coming out as Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona, there he is. He comes out to the aid of Cody Rhodes when Cody gets jumped by a bunch of the Dark Order. So there it is right there. I was kind of stoked about that. That was kind of cool. I didn't know that was coming. I knew it was cut loose. You always got to wonder. That's what makes wrestling so good when these guys show up. But woo, 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 woo is now in the house with AEW. What'd you think of that?
First time I saw him, I mean, again, the dirt sheets were pretty much saying that he was a done deal. And then when I saw it, I don't know if it was just me, but his physique looks a whole lot better now. Maybe just because he's in a better environment and he's not going to be the enhancement talent anymore. He's going to actually be a chance to fight, which he's really good at doing. But also the LAX mouthpiece that we talked about that took on Cody last week, apparently he signed a contract with them as well. So that's 2 more people that are jumping over to AEW.
That guy deserved it. Next up, tag championship match, Kenny Omega, Hangman Page. They take out Stu Grayson and Evil Uno. Next one, Punk. There we go. Kenny Omega, Hangman Page obviously get the win. They've held that title. I think they've held the tag title the entire time that AEW has been in existence. But there you go. Next week, we're jumping all over the place. Next up, we got a non-title women's match. There she is right there. Hikaru Shida, your favorite. She gets the win at Diamante.
She's definitely my favorite. She's my favorite Japanese wrestler for AEW and Asuka in the WWE. And again, I'd love to see those two women come together as like a tag team somewhere, and then they could eventually have their feud. But right now, they're the two. You can Bailey is Bailey. I know I said what I said, but in terms of pure athletic ability, just getting the job done, Hikaru Shida and Asuka, no doubt.
All right, next up, MJF giving his State of Wrestling address on AEW. Do we have this one, Punk? There he is right there.
Loved it.
Was so good.
Of the night. Segment of the night. Best wrestler performance of the week. The segment of the week. Without a doubt, this guy is freaking gold. And I can see him being the next Nature Boy Ric Flair if he stays at this path. I swear to God, I do.
What? Either way, he's great, no doubt. But there he is. He's challenging Jon Moxley. He says he hasn't fought for the title yet. He deserves a title shot. We all agree he does. So it looks like they may fight each other at the all-out pay-per-view. We'll have to wait and see if that comes off. Next up, Jon Moxley, Darby Allin, my favorite wrestler in AEW. They get the win over Ricky Starks and Brian Cage. That was a pretty good match. Darby Allin, that dude is awesome to me. Either way, they get the win in a no DQ tornado match, and I'm calling it. That was the match of the week on AEW Dynamite. Moxley, Darby Allin, awesome match. What'd you think? Wrap it up.
Absolutely, really good match. I mean, Moxley deserves to be where he's at. He definitely feels at home. And again, got to kind of do the little tease. Next week they're supposed to have this debate between the champion Chris Jericho and Orange Juice, and the guest moderator who's coming in, if you read the dirt sheets, is going to be none other than former WCW executive Eazy-E, aka Eric Bischoff.
What?
Yes.
That ought to be great. You love Eazy-E. Hopefully he doesn't go there and mess up anything, but I like it. I always like him there.
He won't.
That's good. All right, on to the independent. Well, let's cover this real quick. Right there. There's the next pay-per-view for AEW. Looks like that's September the 5th. That's man, they're going all out. If it wouldn't have been for coronavirus, that'd be the first Saturday of college football. And they're going to go head-to-head against that, but fortunately it doesn't look like that's going to be too much of an impact because college football will not be going off. What are we, Producer Punk, what you doing there? You doing timeout or what? You doing exercises? What are you doing?
Sounds like a hurricane going through something.
I don't know
what a whole bunch of plagues going on here.
So this gives us a good chance right now for me to go over our little deal that we talked about. We're going to do our little deal that we talked about. So
go ahead, give us the rundown.
Basically, the top and bottom 3 WWE superstars for the year 2020. Just like, you have your bottom 10 and your top 10 in football. They always joke about that. Well, here, the top 3 superstars in the WWE for the year 2020 are, number 1, even though she's on maternity leave, Becky Lynch, with 7 wins and 0 losses this year, a perfect record. Mansoor, that guy that wrestled out of Saudi, he's a Saudi Arabia superstar. He only wrestles when they do the Saudi thing or whatever, but he's like the first Saudi born and WWE superstar. He's 7-0 on 2020. Karrion Kross, your NXT boy. He's 5 wins, 0 losses. So Becky Lynch, Mansoor, Karrion Kross are all undefeated 2020 WWE. On the flip side, the bottom 3, if you will, The Miz, you talked about how Mike Mizanin is having a rough time. Yeah, he's got 9 wins and 25 losses this year for a record 36.5% winning rate. Shane Thorne, NXT, 5 wins, 25 losses for 2020. That's a 16.7% winning percentage. And this guy, I don't know what in the hell is going on here, but King Baron Corbin has 5 wins and 29 losses for year 2020 up to date, with a 14.7% winning percentage for the King Baron Corbin.
Wow.
Not good.
Not good. Looks like somebody's coach is getting fired. Vincent Kennedy needs to pull it out.
If those records were football coaches, they'd be gone right now. But all 3 of those guys in their own right are needed, very badly needed in the WWE, so they're not going anywhere. And besides, that's booking. That's booked wins and losses. Football ain't booked. This is booked wins and losses. So whatever reason, they're just not on somebody.
These guys to lose like this. That's crazy. Now on to the independents. That's what we love. We love covering the independents. We got 4 of them to cover this week. We got Renegade, we got Atomic, we got Wrestling 225, we got Wildcat Wrestling. So let's go to Renegade Championship Wrestling. You got to give it to these guys. These guys are going all out. They've got two big nights, twice a month. The first and the third Saturday of every month. Their shows doors open at 7, show starts at 8. The next show on August the 15th is a No Limits Championship, Double or Nothing. Dorian Crow versus Jason Collins. And right there in the middle of the screen, our good friend right there. He's been on our show before, Cyrus the Destroyer. He's going to be at that show right there too. Check them out. Renegade Championship Wrestling, great Facebook page. They cover their guys. It's going to be awesome. That's not next Saturday, 2 weeks from yesterday. Check them out. The No Limits Championship they got going on. Now on to Atomic Wrestling from Florida. These guys have an event on the 4th coming up at the Space Coast Convention Center. It's called V for Victory 4. There it is right there. They sold out a show this past week. It was a sold out show. This show right here, we're over a month away from it, and it's already 70% sold out. So you want to get your tickets if you plan on going to that one. Atomic Revolutionary Wrestling V for Victory 4. It's going to be a sellout. It's going to be awesome. On to Wrestling 225. This week they're doing their little Tuesday night matches. This past week you had the lockdown week 2. You had Cody Hawkins. He went down to Michael White. You got to give it to them, man. They're producing this show. It's pretty good. They've got a little interactivity with the people that are around the stage. It's live on Facebook. You can check it out now. It's a pretty good show. This right here is leading up because after that match, after Michael White got the win, you had the Wild Thing came out there to help out because Michael White was doing some damage to Cody Hawkins. Wild Thing comes out there. So there you got it this Tuesday night. Lockdown week number 3. You got you got Wild Thing going up against Michael White in a ladder match for the SEC Championship. That's going to be awesome. Check it out. That's our boys at Wrestling 225. What you think of that one, Punk?
Wild Thing's got that match. Wild Thing's going to win that match. There's no doubt. Because you know why? Because he's got on a yellow jersey. LSU does not lose when they wear the yellow jersey. So if he wears that jersey, he's got the win. Guaranteed.
Maybe he's fighting Devin White. I'm just kidding. Either way. Devin White, remember him? Either way. Michael White, Wild Thing, this Tuesday night. Check it out on Facebook, Wrestling 225's Facebook page. On to Wildcat Wrestling. You got to give it to them, man. They are pushing their heavyweight champion in these internet social media matches. Ruthless Ryan Davison. Check it out. They got a spot out interview. Check out their new logo right there. They posted that this week. Their heavyweight champion. He's got a great interview they did this week. 2-minute interview. He's just all up in everybody's face. That's good. They're calling him. He says that even when it all goes down with Corona shutdowns and all this kind of stuff, he has not stopped delivering. He says, I'm Ruthless Ryan Davison, and I am pro wrestling's cure. So check him out right there. He is the man. That guy is a beast. There he is right there. That about wraps it for our independent rundown. So let's go to our performers of the week, sponsored by Defense Shopper. They've been sponsoring us. They do this. They do the devices you can protect yourself. They're giving you free shipping. If you enter the code JackJaw, you get a 20% off. They got a 10% off coupon too. So use that code JackJaw and get 20% off and get free shipping. Who are your performers of the week? Punk, Paul, Panama, Paul, whoever you want to be calling this week. We're going to jump that in a minute. So who's your producers? Who's your performers of the week?
I'm pretty much content with the matches you had. I thought that was great. Because SmackDown was definitely my more favorite show than Raw was because it was a lot more entertaining. It did a lot more building of material. But all the 3 matches that you had for NXT and Raw and SmackDown and AEW, I agree with them 100%. I really do.
That's cool. Well, either way, you got your 4 weeks from AEW's pay-per-view. You're 3 weeks from WWE's pay-per-view. So lots of good action is going to be coming up in the next week or 2. So I'm stoked about it. On to our weekly spotlight. We always try to find out something that you may be interested in. And we don't do this every week. We don't cover Impact Wrestling. But I tell you what, I wanted to check him out just to see who was there with all the Corona/shutdowns that they they've been doing. Wrestlers have been shifting around. So I wanted to give you a rundown on who is in Impact Wrestling. Do you even know who the heavyweight champion is in Impact Wrestling? You would had to have watched Slammiversary, the pay-per-view last week, to know this. But Eddie Edwards is your Impact heavyweight champion. Next one, Punk. Punk, we got the picture there. Are you going to show it to our fans? There he is right there. Eddie Edwards is your Impact Wrestling heavyweight champion. He won it when your Tessa Blanchard had to give it up because of whatever she did. We're still looking for Tessa Blanchard to show up somewhere. But either way, she hasn't done it yet. So there's your Impact heavyweight champion, Eddie Edwards. Next up, the women's knockout champion, who once also was Tessa Blanchard. It is now Deonna Purrazzo. Is that how you say it? Purrazzo. Either way, she's your knockout champion. Next up, your X Division champion is Chris Bay. This guy's a high flyer. That dude's awesome match. Then in your tag team champs, you know it's only a matter of time that these guys are going to drop the belts. But you got right now currently the Motor City Machine Guns. Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley are your tag team champions. So let's run down who else is in Impact Wrestling. These are all people that we've seen at other organizations. Let's go to the top. You got Eric Young, who just showed up last week at Slammiversary. There he is right there.
He went back. So he went back
in Impact Wrestling. This next guy, he's been around a long time. This is one evil dude. He has always been evil to me. None other than Father James Mitchell. Dude, the dude's got the evil eyebrows going. He is just sadistic. You remember him?
Yeah, I remember him in ECW. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's in Impact. Next up, check out this old guy. This guy is still wrestling. Check out the body on this dude. Ken Shamrock. Look at that dude.
Oh, Lord.
He is great. Ripped up. I mean, he's still wrestling. I mean, AKA UFC style. Remember when he used to fight Shamrock? He could never get over. Shamrock could never get over. Who was the guy who used to fight all the time in UFC? Could never get over. The Huntington Beach bad boy, Tito Ortiz. He could never beat Tito. Yeah. And he would say, I'm going to take Tito. I'm going to shut his mouth up. And he never could. Either way, he was a great in WWE, WWF, whatever you want to call him. Ken Shamrock. There he is. He's wrestling currently in Impact Wrestling. Next up, we knew about this guy. We saw him not too long ago. Rhino. Rhino is still in Impact. That guy's good. The Gore. Gore is best move. Next up, I think this is one of your favorite wrestlers, Mr. RVD. He's in Impact Wrestling. I know you like him. He's got a problem with the little green stuff, I'll say. Maybe. I don't know what I'm talking about. Who knows? Next up, the Good Brothers, formerly in WWE, none other than Gallows and Carl Anderson. There they are right there. They're calling him Doc Gallows now. Did they call him Doc Gallows in WWE?
No.
I think it was Eric. No. It was Eric Gallows and Carl Anderson.
Gallows.
Doc Gallows. And then next up, still in the Impact Wrestling, can you believe this guy is still around? I thought he retired 10 years ago. Tommy Dreamer is still there. All right. Then I was looking at the rest of the card, and this next wrestler, I'm thinking, you know what? You got to give it to her at least for one thing. She is the female wrestler that's most prepared and ready for today's world. There she is, Havoc. She's wearing that 24/7 now. She goes out in public. She's wearing that, so she's ready. Either way, that about wraps it this week. That's our that does it for our wrestling spotlight this week. I thought it was cool. We don't cover Impact often, so I thought it'd be cool to go see what's going on there. If something big happens, you know we're going to cover it. Any final remarks? Panama, Paul?
Personally, I would like to form a Twitter hashtag for bringing back Ms. Gonzalez on AEW because I really miss whatever she says is. I'm missing that a lot. That makes it all the fun just to watch her come to the ring when you get a great introduction like that. The other dude, man, he's just not. He doesn't have it. Sorry.
Yeah, what's up with that? Where did she go? What's the story? Where the announcer?
I think he was. I think the dude Justin, whatever, he was out with Corona or he was taking some time off, whatever, and she filled in. I thought she did a hell of a job, to be honest with you. And then I'm backstage again. I guess I don't know what to say, but I mean, I missed her. I mean, I really enjoyed her commentary. Her ring announcement was. She was very exciting the way she announced everything. So, but she's still backstage at least, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, she was the equivalent of Lillian Garcia, right? pretty much.
Or even, yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, she definitely, and I know she actually was employed by WWE at one point. She did an interview with Roman Reigns, and again, the dirt sheets are saying that apparently she did something or whatever, and it didn't go that well, and they pretty much let her go, which I think was kind of rotten apples, because even Roman Reigns said that whatever she allegedly did wasn't that big of a deal. But anyway, it's not for me to say. Anyway, I would like to have a hashtag, bring back Ms. Garcia, because I think she's better in the ring. I really do, and I really enjoy her whenever she does that. That emphasis she puts, the Hikaru Shida, that's what makes me like her even more.
Yep, I got you. All right, well, that about wraps it up this week. I'm Jack Jaw with the Ringside Wrangler Wrestling Report. Look us up if you got any questions, you want us to plug your independence or talk about any of your wrestlers. Hook us up at ringsidewranglers@gmail.com. You can subscribe, comment on our Facebook, comment on our YouTube. We'll be certain to answer any questions. Don't forget to hit up our sponsor this week, the Defense Shopper. The code Jack Jaw will get you 20% off. I've about done it this week. Looking forward to the next couple weeks as they build up to the pay-per-views. When we hang up and we get off this show, we're all going over to producer Punk's house to check on him because we think he's lost his mind this week. He had some pictures that were going up all over the place. I'm certain he's going to have an answer, but it's okay. We'll find out. We'll get to the bottom of it. And
he's got in the chat. He says in the chat that OBS would not accept the pick. Well, I know for a fact that Kansas is going to be back here next week. I'm filling in for him in last minute notice. And whoever OBS is, Kansas is not going to have anything nice to say about OBS. I can promise you, THAT. Trust me.
Yeah. That's his go-to remark. But it's okay. I'm Jack Jaw. This has been the Ringside Wrangler Report. We are out. Check you out next week. Maybe during the week. Who knows?